Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is the One Anti-Hero here with my good friend and teammate.
Chris Sangan, 51.5.
Yeah, post a link in the description. So, Chris Dowd, what did you run today at the locals?
I ran Inzektors.
And how'd you do with them?
I went 2-2 and then lost in the first round of the playoffs to Chain Beat.
Chain beat. How many people played today? Like 25?
Yeah, it was a good number.
Cool, cool. Alright, so let's get into it.
Alright. So first things first, quite obviously. Dragonfly.
Yep.
Kind of need him to go forward in the deck, otherwise you need your
Place to go off.
toolboxes.
The MVP.
Plays for days with this bitch.
Very nice, very nice.
He does well. He helped me out a lot today, actually.
Oh, I'm sure.
2 Giga Mantis.
Does that ever get cloggy? You feel like you need one more or one less?
I tried doing 1 more. It got super cloggy. 2 seems okay. I didn't really see him much today, surprisingly.
Huh.
But I used to play with 1, and it always felt like I needed another one because I just needed another one.
Oh, well, there you go. Perfect number.
Hornet,
Of course. Good thing this is at 1.
Dragonfly's bitch. Of course you need it. 2 Hopper.
Ooh. How do you like the Hopper?
Hopper runs actually really well with this deck. You'll see why in a bit. With certain plays, because I teched in 1 card today, so I ran with 41 instead of 40.
Ooh.
And it ran pretty good, actually, considering.
Very nice.
But Hopper, obviously, your direct attacks gets over. As long as they got no back row, but they got monsters. There's no gores.
Oh, no gores.
3 Ladybug.
Of course.
I don't run insect imitation, quite simply because Chris won't give them to me. But I run 3 of them. A lot of what I do in my deck is all level adjustment and exceeding.
Yeah, he beat me with Volcasaurus today.
Yeah, so it works. Gets you done.
Very nice.
2 Cardcar D.
Oh, I didn't even know you ran those.
Yeah, it speeds it up a bit because without them I ran into a lot of issues where as soon as I ran out of my my main engine, it would take forever for me to recuperate, and many times it was too long and it ended up costing me games and matches.
Okay.
1 Spirit Reaper. 6 Sams cannot get over this bitch. It is so much fun.
That's so true.
They just sit there. They just can't. They just look at it. Yeah, Pappy and not even Maestro. Pappy and all the other target guys hand to 6 Samurais. The one guy that killed him. That was last week though.
Yeah. Not this week.
Nope. Triple Veiler.
Wow. Triple Veiler, huh?
I run Veiler mainly just because I can, really. He's there. He's also in there for BLS. So that I have targets for him. More often than not, I get BLS before I get any Veilers. So
Of course.
Go figure.
Is that your only light targets?
In the main deck, yes.
Okay.
If I have the option to, usually I will go for anything that's in the graveyard that's an XD monster that's light.
Oh, okay, that's true.
And then Dark Knight.
Of course.
Always gotta run him. Considering with Inzektors you can control your graveyard pretty much, unless you draw him late in the game. In that case, he's worse than a dead draw. But he did well today.
Yes.
He could have gotten me into top 2 last week, but I misplayed terribly.
It happens. It happens.
Alrighty,
Revenge next week.
That's our monster count. That's monsters. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, I think.
20. Not bad.
20
Pretty solid
monsters.
count.
Alright, into spells we go. 2 Lance. I had a 3rd one, but chose not to run it because I didn't really feel like taking anything else out because I needed cards. Originally in place for these, I had an Inzektor Giga Weevil and a 1-day apiece. I never actually got to play test with that run with that version of the deck, but whenever I drew the top 5 cards in my deck and then won, I always seem to open with Centipede, Hornet, and Giga Weevil, which it isn't bad. I like Giga Weevil because it gives you that out. Outside of, because you can only use Mantis once per turn.
Oh, okay.
But that's really the only reason I ran him, because I felt like at certain times I needed more than just Giga Mantis. Dark Hole, That's pretty obvious.
One of the last stables left.
Yep, one of the few, along with this guy, Book-a-Moon.
Yeah, definitely a stable now.
Yeah, that Book-a-Moon actually put in some good work today. Quite a lot, actually. Saved me a lot from, what was it, like, it just saved me from Powerful Operative.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
All right, 2 MSTs.
I mean, you run Lance, so 2 MST is probably fine.
Yeah, I guess it sort of saved me games. It kind of kept my Inzektors going today against our good anti-hero here. Some
Yep. Finishing those days.
Yep.
Those days.
2 Zettkaliber. I wanted to run a third, but I can't seem to get my hands on a third one. Because once my engine really goes off, there's no way of me getting any sort of cards back now that Monster Reborn's gone.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
Call the Haunted can only do so much nowadays.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the card that I teched in today, Zetahawk.
Oh my lord, you guys don't even know how much this card worked me out today.
This card, I like it a lot. When I went to regionals last September, October, whenever the hell we went, back in Stratford, this card actually won me a couple of games against like Cardcar and stuff like that with Centipede and with Centipede and Hopper. They really couldn't, because of this card, they couldn't stop me from attacking. And there was no, because they couldn't get over it attack wise, and for some reason they couldn't destroy it, it just busted so much stuff.
So good.
And that's what, a couple of spells.
Yeah, not even that many.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spells.
Okay.
And now onto traps. I run 2 Call the Haunted.
Fancy.
It helps when I don't have the Zettkaliber's in hand. A lot of times when Dragonfly gets Veiler or something like that, and ends up getting destroyed the next turn, I can just bring him back during the end phase. And even with Centipede, but more often than not, he's bottomless. Even with 1.
Crazy.
1 Compulse. So sad this stable went to 1. This card saved me so many games in the past.
So good.
It did a little bit of work for me today. Ultimately, it helped, but in the long run, it kind of stood out a bit. 3 Fiendish Chain.
3 Fiendish and 3 Veilers? Wow.
Yes. I don't know why I run 3 of each. I just kind of do. Veiler's there for BLS, quite obviously, and Fiendish Chain. Well, it keeps him from attacking.
Yeah, that's a really big thing.
If Veiler only stops their effect, it's when they try to activate the effect, it doesn't go through. Okay, so they could still attack. No. And that Fiendish Chain actually helped me out quite a bit today. Slowed down a lot of plays and bought me a little bit of time when I needed it. Triple Wabaku. Quite obviously for the
setup play.
Yeah, to get the setup. Keep Dragonfly or Centipede on the field for another turn, at least from battle. If they don't pop it during the main phase, really, it's just that, they don't pop it during the main phase. They go into battle phase, Wabaku. Okay, so main phase 2. People really use main phase 2 a lot for just setting background. So more often than not, Wabaku will keep it alive for until the next turn. And then last of the traps
for the repeat.
Triple Threatening Roar. This card stalls so much.
It really does.
Because Giga Cowboy can't hit you 10 times in one turn. This card actually saved me a lot today. Bought me some extra time that I may have needed.
All the deck needs is 1 turn.
Yeah, really, that's all it does. All you get to do, top deck 1 card, and that can potentially be game for your opponent. So.
Okay, and that's it for the main deck, right?
Yes, that is the
41
for the main deck. I think so. 3, 6, 9, 12 traps. Yep.
Okay.
41. So 12 traps.
Let's take a look at that bad boy extra deck.
All right, extra deck. First things first, Gaia Charger, Gaia Dragon, whatever his name is. He helps out a bit. especially against everybody's favorite Spirit Reaper. And even
And especially with Scapegoat running around now.
Yeah, now that Scapegoat's back up to what, 3?
Yep.
Him and Shark Fortress. That's gonna be a bitch one day. I didn't really use him too much today because I didn't go too often for 5s. When I did, more often than not, it was to make the gameplay. I didn't need to summon Gaia. So yeah. 2. 61 Volcasaurus.
2.
I run 2 because, well, it's a good card. I mean, yeah, sure.
Easy burn damage.
Yeah, easy burn damage, and sure, he can't attack directly the next turn.
Still attack a monster.
Yeah, but more often than not, your opponent has more than one monster on the field. So, yeah, Volcasaurus did well. Volcasaurus helped me out a lot today. He won me, I forget who it was against. I think it was my first game. Yeah, against some sort of half-assed synchro-centric deck.
Synchro dot deck.
Yeah, the one did pretty well. Just killed everything. 1 Utopia. I'm debating on keeping him in there. I don't go for rank 4s that often. He's the only rank 4 in this deck. So
interesting to see him. Oh, he's a light target. Okay.
Yeah, he's also a light target. I don't go for him that often though because I don't need to. More often than not, if I have the choice, I'm going to go for the 5. I'm not going to go for the 4.
Yeah.
So that's the reason he's the only one. Him being a light target also helps quite a bit with BLS. But yeah, 1 Acid Golem. This card will make your opponent waste so much to get rid of it for no reason, just because it's a 3,000 beater.
Beat stick.
I against 6 Sams last week, I had brought him out and I ended up making my opponent waste a lot of resources. And just for him to get compulsed so that I could OTK my opponent next turn. So he ran well. He didn't even stay on the field for 1 turn, and he went through so much crap just trying to get rid of him. 1 Tempo. He basically exceeds his bitch.
So true.
I haven't used him a lot recently because at least in the decks that I've faced, more often than not, I don't have the setup to bring him out. Back when I ran Tour Guide in the deck, I would, if I got Tour Guide to open up first turn, I would open up with him as opposed to Zen Mains. Because a lot of times people will open up with Tour Guide or something like that, and they'll go for Zen Mains for the defense. So if you're gonna go for that Tempo's your man to get rid of Zen Mains. Minus 5 plus 5 or whatever it is. Lose a material and he gains 5. Right there, he just takes away 2 Zen Main materials.
He's at 27.
Yeah. Speaking of Zen Mains, 1 Zen Mains. I haven't used him a lot lately, but
he's there for protection.
yeah, he puts in work when it's needed. So I say that much. 1 Aegis. I don't go for Aegis as much as I do Tyrus, who is also in the deck. Tyrus is more for those plays because you can't bottomless Tyrus. Yes, you can solemn him, but whatever. You can waste
only 1 solemn.
Yeah, you can waste your 2,000 life points on that one, and then you're kind of having fun with the rest of my monsters.
Yep.
1 number 12 Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja.
Okay.
I was told to run 1 of him. I have yet to use him since I obtained him. He's just kind of there. He might actually come out for a second Gaia Charger. I'm debating on that. Levier?
Of course.
Quite obviously for your benched Centipede. 2 Shark Fortress. This guy won me a couple games today with that Centipede Hopper play. With that Inzektor Hopper play.
Oh man, it was so good.
He do up to like 6,000 at least.
Yep.
Just straight direct damage in 1 turn.
So good.
1 Leviathan Dragon. I go for him when I'm trying to do the dark arm plays.
Right, so you can set up your graveyard with one.
Yeah. Because more often than not, when I have that sort of setup, I've got 1 or 2 engraved, and then I just used him to basically control my graveyard after that, and it usually works out pretty well. And then the last card in my extra deck, Inzektor Axe-Zetahawk.
Oh yeah.
He puts in work. Helps out quite a bit against certain synchro decks. Like if you run Red Nova over Quasar, I had that happen. I brought out Axe-Zetahawk and just took Nova.
That's so
So
funny.
it kind of hurt. It did win me that game though. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it for the extra deck.
All right, let's look at that side deck right now that you got.
Side deck.
Might be suspect to change, but we'll see.
2 Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer.
Okay.
Quite obviously, he's there not only to get rid of my opponent's cards when I need to, but also
Make sure yours don't get removed.
yeah. So you can't bottomless my stupid Centipede. Well, you can still destroy him, but he won't get removed.
No macro or anything.
Yeah, no macro, no D-Fissure. Granted, D-Fissure kind of sort of helps this deck, but it depends on what I get.
Yeah.
2 Leeching the Light. Helps out with Prophecy, Constellar, obviously Hunter Family.
Yeah. I felt the salt today.
I've had it in hand. I have yet to use it, though it's good to have as a backup plan if needed.
Yeah, it's like your own honest.
Yeah. 1 MSC because
You only main 2.
yeah, I only main 2, and sometimes Hornet can't do everything. More often than not, I run into back row issues with attacking and Phoenix Chains and stuff, so if Phoenix Chain is on a monster, I'm not going to be able to use Hornet. So there's only one other way to get rid of it, and that's MST. So,
True.
one-dimensional fissure.
That's interesting.
Because it's limited. I used to run 2. It ran pretty well. It helps out in this deck a lot, especially when you get those matchups like Dark Worlds or
Yeah.
mainly Dark Worlds. Dark Worlds, Fairies, anything like that that uses
The graveyard.
That's graveyard reliant. It kind of gets rid of it. Sadly, it doesn't stay on the field long enough. But
That's what happens with 3 MST rolling around.
2 light imprisoned guard.
Oh yeah.
But obviously for any sort of light-based deck,
Constellas.
yeah, Constellars and I guess Prophecy too. But I guess it depends on the build.
Yeah.
And hey, look at that! It can stop a big eye. He's a light, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
he's a light. If not, he's dark. In that case, I don't run dark Shadow Imprisoning Mirror because
That wouldn't make any sense.
yeah, it really wouldn't. Anti-spell fragrance. I run 2 of those.
Spellbook matchup.
Yeah, spellbook matchups, Dark Worlds, anything that's spell heavy.
You see what I'm saying?
It really forces you to think of what you should set, and if you do set, especially if I can get the Hornet play off with Dragonfly or something, it really progresses everything. So
That's true.
and because Inzektors they activate as monster effects and they equip as monsters and then turn
Yeah,
into
it's
spells,
unaffected by it.
It's unaffected by spell fragrance, so it really helps out.
I'm about to bust you.
2 goes in match and 2 rivalry.
Okay. Okay.
This card actually kind of helped me out today, even though I did lose against that chain, whatever the hell it was.
Chain beat.
Chain beat. Goes in match and rivalry did help out because of the way he had it built. I don't know if it varies because it's the first time I've played it, but I don't know if it varies from player to player. But he had a lot of miscellaneous, a lot of different types and different attributes, and it really slowed him down. And basically, the main reason he won that second game was because
You didn't draw one.
because I had one of each on the field, but the thing is I wasn't able to draw the monster support, and eventually, it totals that up. So,
True.
and then one-dimensional prism.
That's pretty random.
It sort of gets over. I guess you could say it's like a half-assed samurai thing or something, because a lot of Magatamas is, as long as you got the samurai, if it destroys, if it destroys, it can negate. D prison doesn't destroy, so yeah. I haven't used it much, but it's there if I need it. More often than not, you know, it just gets rid of the big monster when they attack it. So you know, the monsters that give you problems like Ophion or something.
True.
Granted, Ophion doesn't affect this deck too badly because it's low level and they create their own high levels, but it helps out. So yeah, that's it. That's the deck profile.
So Chris, would you change anything right now if you had to?
If I had to, I would want to run maybe another sword, and if not another sword, definitely another Zetahawk.
Okay.
Like I said, that card helped me so much in regionals, and even when people MST it, it's like good and bad to MST it because you still get the Inzektor monster play unless it's Phoenix Chained or whatever, but more often than not it isn't. So it helps. I might change the extra deck around a little bit because there's a lot of stuff in there that I really don't use. And now that I actually have a Giga Cowboy, I might actually throw him in there.
Nice. Okay.
That and I don't know.
All right.
I feel like I run more 5s. I should run more 5s, but 6 one-way half doesn't matter.
Cool. All right. Well, Chris Dowd, is there anything you'd like to say before we sign up?
If I ever build any other decks, I'm coming to this guy. I kind of want to build my baby here. I want to rebuild my Uriah. I used to have a deck with that. Beat the shit out of it. He beat up Thought Ruler 11's Dark World deck back when he had it way back in the day.
Okay. Okay.
He probably won't. He'll just say, "Screw you, go die." If I bring that up. But.
Well, thank you a lot, Chris Dowd. I appreciate
Isn't
it.
that right, Chris? Hey, Chris. You remember when you had me try out for the team and I used Uriah against that Dark World deck?
I think he's a little salty. So, well, thank you, Chris Dowd. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it. And this is the One Anti-Hero, guys. Signing out.